What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be taking a look at Greta Van Fleet's latest new single, Farewell for Now. This video is going to be a little different. I got the headset on this time. I had some mic problems last time, and because I didn't wear the headset I couldn't hear that happened until I went to edit the video, and I wasn't about to go back and re-record the whole 30 minutes or whatever it was of the video. So yeah, I'll be having the headphones on just so I can hear everything this time and make sure my mics are not cutting out. And one more thing before we get into it, if you guys don't know already, I'm in a rock band now. We're called The Definitive, and we've got a single out on Spotify. Our second one comes out next Friday, Friday, June 16th, for anyone who's watching in the future. And yeah, we're super stoked about it. We're influenced by Greta, Aerosmith, Red Hot Chili Peppers, some really cool bands. So we'd love if you guys checked us out and gave us a chance, because we're trying to get our name out there and hopefully get out on a tour pretty soon here. So would really mean a lot if you checked us out on socials and on streaming platforms as well, or iTunes if you're old school. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Tuning here is going to be standard tuning, pretty simple. Easy for those of you who don't like retuning your guitars, so that's perfect. So yeah, standard tuning. And then in terms of amp settings here, I'm actually using a rental right now. My main JVM, one of the tubes started going, the power tubes, so I had to take it to the shop. I'm just using a rental right now, but this is a JCM 900 series amp. And same tone settings as usual. The bass is all the way at 10. The mids are at 7 and the treble is at 6. And then for pedals, for this one I'm only using the Ibanez Tube Screamer, the TS9, the green one. And I'm actually using the Holy Grail reverb on the spring setting, with the reverb just at about 11 o'clock. I opted not to use the Dunlop MXR reverb for this one, just because it's got a sweeter sound to it, and I felt I needed the Holy Grail's kind of a little bit brighter tone to it. So, and I find it does better when I'm recording into a microphone with the Holy Grail rather than the MXR. So I just keep the MXR for live, and then Holy Grail I'm using now for studio stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the settings here. I'm using my bridge pickup, and I'll have the volume set at about 5 until we get to the solo. And then unless you have like an overdrive pedal or a boost pedal, then you can just have your volume wherever. And then my tone settings are at about 6 on the bridge pickup. So yeah, so the riff starts off on 14th fret G and 15th fret B. So you play the G and the B string together, and then 12th fret D string. So then you alternate back and forth. So this next part is 12th fret D, 14th G, and that's down up, and then downstroke on the 12th fret D, 13th fret B with an upstroke, and then upstroke on the 14th G, and then a downstroke on the 12th D. So that's the first part of that riff. And then you slide down to your 8th fret D string, 7th fret G, and 6th fret B. So I'm always, for each kind of pluck here or strum, I'm always picking that D string. So it's a full chord pick, and then you pick the D string on its own. And then you slide your first finger down to 5th fret on the B string. So you can kind of hear how that it alternates between playing a chord and just the D string. Right? And then it goes back up to here. And the second time, when you come down to your 6th, 7th, 8th frets, you go 6th fret, 5th fret, 6th, and then it goes into the verse. So for this little lick here, 6, 5, 7, 6, 5 on the B, and then 7 on the G. And we go into the verse. And I'll cover that verse in the next little clip here. Make sure you're comfortable with that intro before you move on, just so that you're keeping on top of everything before you get too much to handle. So try and get that intro down and make sure you're comfortable with it, and then move on to the verse. Okay, so here we're at the verse, and I forgot to mention in that last clip that I'm not going to post the full lesson here on YouTube. I'll post about half the song here, and then the other half, for those of you who already know, it will be on Patreon. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to leave a link to it down in the description box. And essentially what Patreon is it's a service that allows content creators to post kind of more exclusive content to help support their business, essentially, more than just YouTube, because as you know, YouTube is kind of in with the other streaming platforms where they still pay you, but you don't get a huge chunk if you're a relatively small creator. So I'm on Patreon, and the full lesson will be there, including the guitar solo. So I'd appreciate if you guys went over there. If you like my teaching and you want to learn the rest of the song, just head over to Patreon. It's only a couple bucks a month, and I try and keep it a reasonable price so you guys can still have access to the stuff, but I can make a little bit more profit to put it back into more stuff for you guys. So anyways, on with the verse. Right. And I turned it up to 10. You don't want to do that. So you're just going to start with a simple D major chord. So 2 downstrokes, and then it's like a ghost downstroke the third time, because then you're going to hit it with a quick upstroke and pull your second finger off the second fret of the E string, and that'll be up, up. And the second up, you're going to put your finger back on the second fret of the E string. So then after you put it back on, you pull it off, hammer onto second, and then pull back off to open E. And then you pluck your B string, which is on the 3rd fret already. So if that's something tricky for you, just practice. So then the next chord you're going to go to here is 3rd fret B and E, and then 2nd fret D, 3rd fret A. So it's like a C major chord with a G over top of it. Or I guess, yeah, it's a C major with a G. And then G major. So, right? So C major with a G, and then a G major full. And then this little lick here, open D, and then 2nd fret D, pull off to open, right? 3rd fret A, 3rd fret D, open D, 3rd fret A, open D. So all together. Right. So then you repeat again. Except this time you don't do that lick again. So you don't do that twice in a row. So you get to your G major chord here. And then right before you switch out of it, I actually switch my fingers here. So on the A string 2nd fret, I end up putting my 2nd finger there. So that, 1, 2, 3. what I'm doing here is my first finger goes onto the first fret of the B string, and my third finger comes off the third fret of the B. So you get that C in there in the mix. So. Right? So it's on the end of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite the end. So it's right after the 4th beat. Down, up, down. It's hard to count out that timing there. And then it goes back to the same repetition. And then one more time. And in that time, it just hovers on the G major chord there. And why is that? Because it goes back up to here. And then you hit the chorus for the first time. So like I said in the last clip, just make sure that you're kind of learning these in chunks, and make sure you're comfortable with the intro first and then the verse like we just covered, because that intro will then reoccur right after the verse before you go into the chorus. So it's important to have your intro down first, and then of course your verse comes after, and then you get to play the intro again for fun, and then you go to the chorus. So yeah, just make sure you're feeling comfortable with that so you don't get overwhelmed with a whole bunch of stuff that you have to master all at once. So yeah, next clip, we're going to take a look at. Okay, welcome back for the chorus section of this song. So this is not actually too dissimilar from the verse. It kind of follows a similar pattern. The only difference is this first little part around the D chord. So we've just gone from this intro lick again. So you start on the D chord again. So it'll be 3 strums on the D. 1, 2, 3. And you don't actually have to strum it like that. That's just to feel out the beat and count it out before you get to that lick. So 1, 2, 3. So that lick is, you're just gonna, for the first note, keep your same chord position. And then you're playing the E string on the 2nd fret where your positioning is. And then 3rd fret E, and then 2nd fret E. So. And then open E, and then 3rd fret B string. So 1, 2, 3. And then it follows the same progression as the verse pretty much. So your C major chord with a G. And then it repeats. So then again, the 4th time, like we did in the verse, you're going to hold that G, and then you go B flat, major chord. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing the 1st fret A string, and then 3rd fret D, G, and B. And then I'm not actually barring it, you can if you'd like, but I'm using this finger still to mute the E string, because you don't want to have that E in there just yet. That comes in a bit later. So you want to just have with no E on top. So. So B flat major, and then your G major again, and then D major. and then it repeats back into another verse, and then another intro lick, and then another chorus, and then goes to the guitar solo after that. But I will cover all of that in my Patreon video, as I said earlier. Yeah, it's just a really good way to support the content creator, just a little extra on top of the YouTube, and it helps me put back into the channel, like the microphones that you're hearing now, miking my amp and my voice, and just keep getting better. And you know, the software that I had to pay for recording all this stuff, and the camera gear and the lighting, so it really does help me out, and it helps you guys out too, because it improves the quality, and it keeps, you know, progress with the channel. So yeah, for those of you already subscribed to Patreon, I appreciate you guys, and for those of you who are going to subscribe, I appreciate you too. And if you're just on YouTube as well, I still appreciate you. And so yeah, Patreon's in the description box below. Check out my band too. I'll leave some links down there. We're super stoked about what we're doing, and we hope you guys are too. Album out in August, new single next Friday, so, and hopefully a tour within the next year. That would be really nice. So yeah, if you're on Patreon, we'll see you in the next clip, and if you're just sticking on YouTube, until next time, keep on rocking, guys.